Ethics is knowing the difference between what you have a right to do and what is right to do. That is Porter Stewart. I love this quote because it sort of like ties in with what we're talking about today in the morning. We're talking about the employment law in Kenya, the things that happen at the workplace, the things as a boss you think, I want to do this, but are you doing the right thing? Is it your right to do that thing to that person, to those people? And having this conversation with us is Robert Odanga, an advocate of the High Court. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Sana.
Yeah, asante sana.
Yeah.
How have you been?
I've been great. Always looking forward to these conversations. Like I told you earlier,
yeah.
Conversation should be had every other time. People need to know. There's so many things that happen at the workplace.
Yes.
And when you look at those things, when you're inside or outside, or later in life, you're like, I didn't deserve that. If I knew this and this and this, then I wouldn't have taken that.
Yes.
Or I should have taken this action against this person who did these things to me. What does the employment law of Kenya say?
Employment is one of the challenging sectors that we have in all over the world. Because you see, when you put in an employment situation, when someone is looking for a job, they're usually very desperate.
Yes.
I just want a job. We say in Kenya, kutafuta kazi pia ni kazi.
Ni kazi.
So by the time you get an opportunity to work in a certain institution, you don't even look for a lot of things. You're just like, okay, guys, can I start today? Yeah, how much is the salary? Okay, that salary is fine. I'm able to start. Let's just proceed.
Yes.
But you need to just take a step back a little bit. Ensure that first there's a contract. You're given a contract that you're able to sign. Now, this contract should be having things like, you need to check out if that organization has things like a sick leave, maternity leave for 3 months, paternity for 2 weeks. We're also given paternity leaves as well.
Yes.
Paternity leave for 2 weeks. You also need to check if you're able to get your leave days, you're able to get the sick leave. All those days that you need.
Off of work.
Off of work.
Yes.
Other thing that you can look at is the sexual harassment policy. There's some organization when you go to work, you feel like you will be sexually harassed in those organizations. Yes. So it's actually a condition that when you have more than 20 employees, you must have a sexual harassment policy. You have to look at safety measures.
Oh, wow.
That are in the organization as well. Safety policies and things like that.
Okay.
Yes.
So those I need to check before I sign the contract.
Before you sign the contract.
Okay.
You need to ask, like, for instance, if you're going to sign your contract, what is the notice that's supposed to be given in the event of termination? Can your employer wake up today and say, you know what, you're fired? Yeah, okay, what are you supposed to be looking at?
Yes.
You understand? Your contract should be specifying when you can be fired, the termination. For instance, maybe you're the one who wants to leave.
Yes.
Yeah, how then do you leave? Probably you've gotten a better contract somewhere else. And then as an employer, also you have to put the competitive clause. For instance, you might be working with me.
Yes.
But then you also use my resources to enrich another company that is competing with my business.
No.
You understand?
Employer wouldn't allow that.
Employer wouldn't allow that.
Yes.
So those are the things that you also have to, include. You also have to check in the contract before you sign it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just breaking it down for, kuna watu wengi wanaingia kazini sahihi.
Yes.
What is the best deal for an employee in terms of termination? What should you be looking out for? Should it be on your terms, or do you get into an agreement? What is like the usual safe way to allow that to happen?
I think the biggest problem that I've encountered as an advocate out here, and the ones that I've had people cry about, is termination.
Yes.
Everything's always rosy until the point where you get terminated. Of course, probably the times of COVID, a lot of people lost their jobs as well.
Yes, they did.
So in the event of termination, this is the procedure. This is what usually happens. If you sign a contract that gives out, first of all, in your contract, there should be a termination notice. It could be 2 months, it could be 1 month, it could be 3 months, whatever amount of time is written there. If that time is not there, if you're being paid monthly, then you should be given a 1 month notice.
Okay.
All right. In the event that the employer doesn't want to give you a 1 month notice, the employer should be paying you a salary that amounts to the 1 month that you would have worked.
Okay.
Yeah. In law, we call that payment in lieu of notice.
Yes.
So in that case, then you should be getting your 1 month salary before you're terminated. Other issue is, for instance, you could be that those who are employed daily. Okay, they are paid per day kama watu wa mjengo. Si watu wa mjengo pekee ndio lipwa per day. There are several people who are paid per day, casual laborers. So in that event, they also need to be given a 1-day notice. If you're being paid for 2 weeks, you're also supposed to be given a 2-week notice.
Okay.
Either way, it depends with the amount of money you're being paid per month.
Okay.
All right. Then another thing also happens in the workplace where the boss does not like you.
Yes.
You know, like, umefanya kitu, ama probably you're a lady na, you know, you've turned down certain advances. So the guy's like, gross misconduct, you're fired.
Is there a way to measure how gross this misconduct was?
Of course, the Act provides for someone can be summarily dismissed. When you say summarily dismissed, you can be dismissed there on the spot, no notice, nothing, when you have engaged yourself in gross misconduct.
So how are we measuring this gross? Probably they don't just like me.
There is a procedure for
okay,
that.
please.
Now, the thing is, whenever, and this is one thing I know I don't want to talk, it is something that I want everyone to probably grasp.
Okay.
If you don't know the law, don't know anything. Just talk about, it's the same thing in the US, they talk about, my right to silence and all that.
Yes.
For someone employed, your weapon is usually what we call Section 41 of the Employment Act. Just say Section
41.
Exactly.
Shout to you.
Just shout that. You see, Section 41 is about fair hearing.
Okay.
Section 41 provides that in the event of gross misconduct, the employer needs to give you a platform for you to be heard. It needs to be taken to the disciplinary system. It's supposed to indicate the fact that if you're saying I was involved myself in gross misconduct.
Yes.
What happened? Explain your side of the story. What this and this and this happened. Now make a judgment. Which is the correct position, really, because so many people have lost their jobs. In the, they talk about gross misconduct and all, and it is not really gross misconduct.
Yeah.
They think that things like insubordination, things like stealing from your employer, there are a lot of those things. But unajua pia in the workplace, some of these things wanaweza wekelewa.
Yeah.
For instance, I've given you a scenario where a case I'm handling at the moment, where there's this lady that was working in a very posh organization. The boss was like, we need to go out to Mombasa, over the weekend or something. Kuja twende. Wewe ukakataa.
Boss umemwambia no.
Alifika asubuhi akaambiwa go to the boss office, the boss is calling you. Your letter is here. You've been dismissed for gross misconduct.
Gross misconduct is saying no to his advances.
Exactly, that is what he considered it to be. But you see, gross misconduct, that is sexual harassment in the first place. But you see, gross misconduct is detailed. It's about stealing. It's about insubordination.
Yes.
It's about being lazy and incompetent,
late to work,
missing work, such stuff. But then you need to be given a right to fair hearing.
Yes.
Then now, what happens if you've been unfairly terminated?
Okay.
First of all, I will give you two interesting cases that I think you might know about. There is a PS who was fired. And now the PS went to court, said she was unfairly terminated, and all that happened. The court only gave her 1 shilling, 1 bob.
1
bob. Yeah, look at it.
Robert,
there's a PS for NYS or something.
1 shilling.
1 shilling.
Tunachukua break. Hebu tuchukue break. Shilingi moja utapeleka wapi? Na wewe ndio umeenda kotini. Lazima ulipe lawyer. Mkubaya. Inaweza kugeuzia. If you have any questions about the employment law in Kenya, please, this is where Robert Odanga is going to be in studio after this break. So send in all your questions. Ajibu kabla ondoke. 111 444 111. We'll be right back. This is Full Circle with Mwikali. Welcome back to Full Circle with Mwikali. Robert Odanga, an advocate of the High Court, in studio this morning. We're talking about employment laws in Kenya. And yes, you have a right. And if you don't know exactly what it says, what's about to Section 41.
Yeah.
And then, I'm going to see you in court. And then you can be heard. But then again, like you mentioned earlier, just before we went on the break, kuna mtu alipatiwa shilingi moja.
This is the advantage of employers.
Yes.
Probably you've been stealing from the organization.
Okay.
Umekuwa tu ule mtu tu sugu tu, as in you have a lot of issues in the employment sector.
Yes.
We had a PS who had misappropriated funds charges in the office. So alikuwa na criminal charges and everything else. Then you see, he went ahead and she was terminated. Akaenda akaambia coach, you know what, there was unfair dismissal, unfair termination. I'm being protected under section 41.
Yes.
Court, please help me. Court said, okay, you unfairly terminated. Yes.
Hearing,
we are going to reward you. Yeah. So we are giving you fair hearing.
Yes.
Here is your one bob.
Pole sana
So,
for wrongful termination.
as an employer, but
Yes.
this is an advantage to employers, if there is gross misconduct, if there is certain things that the employee has done that hurts the business, you can fire them without looking into section 41, looking into anything. Just fire them on the spot. They can be able to go. Then when they go to court, you can tell the court, listen, this person contributed to him being fired. Yeah, they affected the business badly. They did this, they did that. There was gross misconduct. There was nothing else I could have done.
Okay.
You understand? So basically, what the employer will be doing in court is reducing the number of damages that could be paid. I remember we also have a case, the famous case for the airport.
Yes.
Where there this famous person, he was fired. I think it's general knowledge.
Yes.
Mr. Naikuni fired someone on the spot.
Yes.
When they're having a bash,
Yes.
the dance
Yes.
floor.
Alipenduka na kwambia.
Amemtoa Arsenal sana.
Yeah.
Ameamua kutoa t-shirt.
Akavaa
Ameandika
jezi.
Fly Emirates. And the guy works for KQ.
When?
So he was like, remove this t-shirt here, here. The next day in the morning, he was given a resignation letter. Akamwambia, wewe, sit down here and sign it. You have been fired. So the guy went to court. Of course, court gave him his job back, and Mr. Naikuni was ordered to pay this guy $1 million shillings.
What? So it can go either way.
It can go either way.
Depending on
yes.
The basis of this termination, because this
Yes.
was quite malicious. I
That was
think.
quite. It was quite malicious.
Yeah, it
And then
was.
now he looked at the Constitution protects certain things. First of all, you are not supposed to be a slave to someone's employment.
Yes.
But another thing, you are entitled to your dignity. So by removing this jersey from this guy,
Yeah. Okay.
in a bash, the guy was
Yes.
kind of demeaned.
Yes.
So the court decided to give this guy some damages of $1 million shillings.
Okay.
And the guy also got his job back.
Okay.
So if you've been unfairly terminated as well, there is recourse for you because you are entitled to a whole year's salary.
Whole year.
A whole year's salary.
So, and
So
this
in
will
case
have to
you're
be
being
determined,
paid.
though.
No, it's not being determined.
Yeah.
Whenever you've been fired and section 41 has not been adhered to,
Okay.
it is automatic, because you see, it's automatic that you have been unfairly terminated. You understand?
Yes.
You have been in service to this company for such a long time.
Yes.
You've slaved your way, you've slaved yourself in there. You umeamka asubuhi, kukazana na traffic. You've built the company so nicely. You understand?
Yeah.
Then someone just wakes up and fires you. No notice,
No, nothing. What if they don't even give you that termination letter? You're fired word of mouth, and your job is taken over. You're working and somebody else has taken your job.
It is to your advantage. You know, but then those things happen. Umeingia job asubuhi
Unapata desk yako. Kuna mtu amekaa na umeambiwa ni aje rudi tu home. It's over.
If you are receptionist, unapata yenda kuruhusiana kwambia, how may we help you please? You're the one working there.
Yes.
So that is a good thing for you. In fact, don't even start complaining with anybody.
Just leave.
Just leave. In fact, with employment matters, it's so easy. You don't even need to go to a lawyer. There's a labor office. Go to the nearest labor office. Put in your complaint. There, the labor office ataandikia barua, your employer, amwambie niaje, you fired this person without notice, without a termination letter or anything. This person is entitled to 12 months salary.
Yes.
Yes. Apart from 12 months salary, but then you're also going to get your leave days paid for. If you didn't take any leave,
That's
hizo leave days nafazi lipwe.
Yes.
There are also other people ukiona mtu ameanza like if a lady for instance amekuwa pregnant. Kwa 5 months, 6 months.
Unamfire.
Unaona wewe tutasumbuana.
Yes.
Tutapata maternity leave and all, so I'm firing you now.
That happens a lot.
That is
as well.
discrimination that the Constitution also outlaws. That happens a lot though.
Yes.
A lot of people suffer in terms of employment. So I would actually maybe, if we don't digress so much into it, tuambie pia tuambie ni shida gani wako nazo in employment matters, so that we can also assist them before you cut me off.
Before we go, yes, here we are. Ngoja, yuko wapi? Hi Mwikali, I had a check-off loan and my employer deducted me money from my salary and sadly didn't submit the money to the bank. According to my pay slip, I already finished paying my loan, but the bank keeps calling me to say that I need to clear my loan. When I asked my employer why they didn't submit my money to the bank, they say that the company doesn't have money. What action should I take?
Wow, that is a very dangerous, a very serious case. First of all, in terms of, that is a very important thing that you've also brought up. First of all, in terms of deductions,
yes,
it should not be more than 2/3 of your salary. That is another thing.
Shouldn't be more than 2/3
of your salary, or
Okay.
whatever amount that it is that you earn. Pay everything back a bank. Now, the thing is this, in this case, if that money was not remitted to the bank, if there are any penalties that the bank has imposed on this person, because that money was not paid, the employer needs to pay for that.
Yes.
Yes, because see, the loan was taken based on the paycheck, the salary, the whatever salary this person was earning.
Yes.
Yeah. So the employee, you know, has all the rights to demand for any penalty that the bank has imposed on him, plus the salary that was supposed to have been paid. Yes, that will be payable immediately. All he needs to do is not even go to a lawyer, go to a labor office. Unajua wengine wanaogopa mawakili are expensive. But some people, there's some lawyers who are out there to assist. You understand, like pro bono. Like for instance, you can be able to come to offices and be able to assist you in these matters. You go to the labor office, they'll write to them, or write a letter to your employer, and that matter will be sorted out immediately.
Yeah, this is I think it's a win for her.
It's a win for her.
It's a win for her.
It's good for her.
Morning Mwikali, miuchelewa job kila siku nikisikiza show yako. It's amazing and I've learned a lot. It's Kezia listening from Muranga. Mwingine anasema, hello Mwikash, show ikolit, quick question. So if I want to open a company, that's all I have to consider. Does it mean opening a company and employ staff is such a complicated affair? That is Wycliffe.
It is not complicated. What you need to ensure that it is in the honors of the employer to ensure that your employees have a contract.
Yes.
If you're going to have employees who are working for you over 3 months, any employment situation for over 3 months, it needs to have a contract. And then a contract is good because the contract specifies what needs to be done in the event of something happening. A contract specifies that if I want to terminate you, what happens? Am I giving you a 1 month notice? Am I paying you? Am I giving you payments in lieu of notice? You understand? Having a contract protects both parties. If you don't have a contract, then you open a Pandora box, a lot of things hitting you as an employer.
That's true.
And then you see, as an employee, don't you never, it will be to your advantage, never push for a contract. Just to go to work and work.
For the employee.
Yeah, just
fanya tu kazi.
It is in the honors of the employer to give you the contract.
Yes.
So do not go force yourself, ati sijaipewa contract, follow up. No.
Fanya tu kazi.
Ingia kazi, fanya kazi, endelea na kazi yako.
Na kikwambia hatuna contract.
Ni sawa, wewe unaendanga job na unalipwa monthly.
Yes.
Uko sawa.
Oh, so I can defend if I'm told like up and leave now, you don't have a contract. Am I able to defend myself if I was working, I was being paid, I've been here for a year? We've seen situations where you're given like you're on probation for like 3 months.
Yes.
And then after 3 months, they probably like what you're doing.
Yes,
they keep you there. Probation
they keep you there.
They keep you there.
That's how it happens. Ama when you intern, umewekwa sana, umekaa hapo, naambia, but it's good, we can proceed with this relationship. But the moment probation time yako imeisha, now you become a full employee.
What if you're not paid? As nobody's talking about your situation. Wewe unakuja tu job, wanakupenda, yes, kazi yako ni nzuri, lakini hauna contract, hakuna kachini, no money.
No money. That's strange. Unaendanga tu job. You need to negotiate. It's a negotiation world. No, like sawa tumefika hapa, tumeagreeaje. There must be something to show that there is a relationship, an employer-employee relationship.
Okay.
So by the time you're going to work and ulipwi, hakuna consideration. So basically, you have no contract. There's no contract, whether oral or whatever.
Yeah.
There's no contract.
Okay.
If you keep going to someone's office, working for free, you're not an employee.
Okay.
Yeah. It could be another someone is teaching. So someone is there to gain experience. So do not go to someone's workplace without being paid.
Okay.
Yeah, ensure that you're being paid. And there's a record of that payment. Ataona tena ni huruma. Hakuna kitu kama. Let me tell you, in employment sectors, there's nothing like that compassion of, because huyo mwenye ametengeneza hiyo business, you need to get an income as well.
Yes.
So if you find that you're cheap labor, you keep coming and work for free and go home, ukifikiria something will come out of it, even the law won't protect you. Okay. The law does not protect the indolent. By that I mean the law.
Here we go again. It's fine. Okay.
The law does not protect someone who is sleeping on their rights.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to ensure that your rights are heard, your voice is heard, And the Constitution has, has several things, several ways it protects your rights. It has those labor laws and everything else that it covers. The Employment Act, we even have a court specified for employment matters only.
Okay.
We have an employment court.
Okay.
Handling these matters.
All right.
Yes.
There's a question here, interesting. Kilonzi, that's his name,
Yes.
have been suspended from a county assembly government, I think, without any pay since Jan last year. Reason, the clerk has, I think, hate me. The clerk hates me since employment. Say, dear Baba. So, who you have been doing a clerk?
Who you have been doing? I'm terminated.
Since Jan last year.
We've talked about Section 41.
Section 41.
It's simple. Okay, was there a termination letter? That is one. Anafaa kutuambia kama kulikuwa na termination letter. Kama alipatiwa fair hearing, especially, that is like a government institution. Huwezi
Yes.
kuwa tu fired hivyo.
Yeah.
Kama kuna all that. Hizo vitu zingine haziko, in fact, yes, in a labor office, ataenda mahali. Court. Proceed to court. Talk about an unfair termination or unfair dismissal.
Yeah.
You'll be able to, in fact, he will be paid salary for 12 months if he was still working there. Yes. Atapata salary yake for 12 months. It is that straightforward.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no going around about it. Unless now the county can come in and say, like I told you with the matters of the PS,
Yes.
huyu alifanya hivi na hivi na hivi to contribute to him being fired, and there should be evidence of that. But even if there's an evidence for that, what should have happened is this guy should have been given a fair hearing, appear before a disciplinary committee, assessing what and what is going on.
Okay.
Yes.
Kuna swali nyingine hapa kwa SMS line yetu ni 1114441.
Yeah.
What about mse akipata accident kwa company then he got fired because he's no longer helpful?
Oh no.
Yeah,
That
what
is,
happens? That we've seen, sasa ingine they don't even take care, but it also depends on the contract. Kama
Yes.
ulikuwa unapatiwa medical cover or
Exactly.
not as well.
That is there, but were you injured in the course of
Work.
work? For instance, if you are a rider, a motorbike rider, for instance, of a particular company, when you message wanatumanga na hiyo pikipiki ku deliver 1, 2, 3. For instance, watu wanafanya delivery for Pizza Inn, Domino, or some things like that. Were you injured in the course
The
of
line of
employment,
duty.
the line of duty? If you're in the line of duty, you are entitled to first compensation for all that time that utakuwa umeka if you're not working.
Oh.
Because you were injured in the process of employment.
Yes.
So anafaa kuwa amelipwa, afai kuwa tu fired. You could be fired if you are incapacitated such that you are not able to ride that, to use that motorbike anymore, or you're not able to work anymore. But you should be adequately compensated for that. Okay. So you should proceed and sue immediately. Atapatiwa his dues completely.
Atapatiwa his dues.
Yeah.
Okay. I was unfairly terminated. Ngoja. Thank you, Wikali, for this conversation. I was unfairly terminated 2 years ago, and now that I'm listening to Wakili, is it too late to go back and file a lawsuit?
She was terminated 2 years ago. I told you earlier about people sleeping on their rights. She can try. But the thing is, 2 years is such a long time. There's something we call limitations of act. Limitations of act. In terms of, there's a duration that you need to take to sue. If it's a contract, it's 6 years. If it's, if it's a tort, whatever it is, you have a time frame for bringing matters to court. But within 2 years, alikuwa na contract na hii company and all that, she can proceed and sue. She'll be able to get compensated.
Okay.
Yeah, very nicely.
So what about the companies that wanafaa kukukata kawaida, mnakatwa HELB, unakatwa NHIF, NSSF, and all of that?
Yes.
So later, after you've been terminated, your contract ends with this company.
Yes.
Then you find out ukiwa kwa dunia that
They've
the 1 year,
never.
2 years, they never paid that for you.
Yeah, they should give you that money back to you.
Okay.
Yeah, unafanya tu that math and everything else, and if there's any, we call it what? If there's any penalty that has accrued within that period, now the penalty is not your fault. You thought this money was being remitted because the money was deducted from your salary. Deducted from your salary.
Yes.
Yeah, you should write that is fraud. It's a criminal offense.
You have to send the labor court.
It's a criminal offense. You understand? Because you see, it means that you've been deducting this money and taking it where? You're keeping it yourself. That is stealing from your employee. It's stealing from your employee. So what he needs to do is, write to the employer, detailing the amount of arrears zinafaa kulipwa, whether in HIF or HELB, whatever it is. If there are any interest or penalties, unamwekea hapo juu alipe nazo.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Final question before we come to the end of this. What about employees changing terms of their employment before consulting their employees? What legal action is supposed to be taken in such a scenario? Okay.
The employment work, your employer owns the employment place. That is one. Number two, if there's a contract that you had signed, there should be a 1 month notice. Like the same thing with termination. A 1 month notice that's from next month, this and this and this will be happening. Unless the changes that the employer wants to make are for instance, for your benefit as an employee. For instance, increasing your salary and things like that, adding certain benefits. Those ones you can do anytime. But if these changes are going to affect you, then there should be a notice, a 1 month notice to that. And I've seen this matter has happened a lot because we had the COVID-19 people being left for redundancy and things like that, which should not happen. A lot of those cases are in court right now. I think we forgot to mention. There are several rights an employee has, including a right to strike.
Yes.
You understand?
I do.
Including a right to strike. So,
relax, guys.
No problem. So, including a right to strike, a right to, a safe working environment, sexual harassment policy needs to be there. You need to be feeling safe in your environment and all that.
Okay.
Yes.
Aki kuna swali hapa tu, najua tuna run out of time. I was working in a company tukasimamishwa after corona came na tujailipwa from May last year. And top of that, they had a sacco in the company na ilikuwa lazima ukue kwa sacco na pia hawalipi wa savings. Wanasema hakuna pesa na ilikuwa wanakata from salary.
Oi.
Sasa, so kuna acha nisome ingine pia. So this particular company terminated our contract prematurely with our outstanding salaries from July, August, September, and October. Yet even 1 month notice, we were never given up to date, no communication. We were outsourced. What's the advice from Udanga? Because outsourcing agencies told us tungoje since October venye tuvutwe tu.
That's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
Kuna kazi. And then this is a big company. It's one of the companies zenye zimeanguka na hii corona.
Okay, first of all, in terms of your COVID, there are a lot of cases in court.
Yes.
The three important things like I mentioned before you took the time lapses, are those three things. Someone cannot file without a notice. That's number 2. Number 3, kuna hiyo kitu ya redundancy, because unasema people and all that, there should be a notice as well for all that. Another thing is that in the event anasema gross misconduct or anything, there should be a fair hearing.
Okay.
And just for this, we have a dedicated phone line for matters that, more queries if somebody has. If someone has a pen, they can write it down. 0725 119 100.
Okay.
0725 119 100. I've realized a lot of questions, especially those those two last questions.
Yes. And just quickly, please, Shane, forgive me.
Yes.
This house helps are also covered in this particular.
Yeah, the labor laws.
And we need to give our house helps contract.
House helps.
Yes.
House helps are better because house help are protected by the minimum wage bill. No other profession is. Casual laborers, no other profession is. House helps, janitors, those casual laborers, they are protected by the minimum wage.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's such an amount of money that you cannot underpay them. Lazima tu ikuwe hiyo amount ikienda juu.
Ni amount gani hiyo? Utuambia haraka ki Robert. Tunajua hiyo ni amount gani? Okay, sawa.
I can't talk about it yet.
Sawa. Thank you for coming. Social media.
You can go to our Facebook page, Odanga Advocates. Our website, Odanga Advocates, will be able to assist you chap.
Absolutely.
Yes. But they have given us a dedicated phone number.
Yes.
In case of any issues, like they said, lawyers are like doctors.
Yes.
Please call 24/7.
Okay.
He will be able to assist you.
All right.
Sawa. I wish there's a day we could have more time.
I know. We do this all the time. Okay. Thank you, Odanga, for coming.
Yeah, you can blame Wikali for that, not me.
I I'll take it, guys. It's okay. It's fine.
Okay.
We're taking a short commercial break. We will be right back. Don't go too far.
Thank you so much.